Okay, so now that we understand the demand curve, we can start to talk about something called the extent of exchange. In other words, now that we understand when people are going to want to purchase something and how much of it they'll want to purchase, we can start to think about how much of it they will actually be able to purchase. So let's start with a two-person model comparing two people named Ray and Ted. Okay? For simplicity, we're going to assume that this is the market for eggs and that each of them have 20 eggs per week to start. Okay? Ray has a marginal personal worth of the 20th egg of 12 cents, and Ted has a marginal personal worth of the 20th egg of only 4 cents. If we wanted to use some equations for this, we could say that Ray's demand curve would be given by the equation P is equal to 22 minus 1/2 Q, and Ted's would be given by the equation P is equal to 14 minus 1/2 Q. Now, comparing these marginal personal worths, we can say from this pretty easily that both Ray and Ted will benefit if Ted sells at least one egg to Ray for a price somewhere between 4 cents, which is his willingness to part with the egg, and 12 cents, which would be the maximum amount that Ray would be willing to pay. Ted benefits because anything above 4 cents will make his overall personal worth increase. Ray benefits because anything less than 12 cents will make her overall personal worth increase. But how many eggs will Ted sell to Ray, and what will be their price? So what we should first recognize is that Ray will continue to buy eggs from Ted as long as the price Ted sells them for is less than or equal to her marginal personal worth. Likewise, Ted will continue to sell to Ray as long as the price is greater than or equal to his marginal personal worth. But what we should notice is that as Ray buys more eggs, the marginal personal worth to her would be diminishing. We should also be able to recognize that as Ted sells Ray more eggs, the marginal personal worth to him is increasing. And finally, we want to recognize that any egg that Ray buys must be sold by Ted. So what we're looking for to figure out how many eggs are going to be sold and what their price will be, we're going to look for two things. First, we're going to try to find a point where the marginal personal worths for both Ray and Ted are equal. Second, we should find a point where the number of eggs sold is by Ted in this case, by Ted, is equal to the number bought by Ray. So we want to find some point where both of these conditions are met. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just put a demand curve for Ray and a demand curve for Ted on the board, and I've labeled all the relevant information that we have so far. So right now they both have 20 eggs. Ted values that at 4 cents, and Ray values her egg at 12 cents. Okay? If we were to exchange one egg, we would move this way for Ted, right? So he would have 19 eggs per week, and we would move this way for Ray, who would have 21 eggs per week. Okay? And we could continue this, and we would notice that as we continue moving to the left for Ted and to the right for Ray, their marginal personal worths are coming closer and closer together. And if we continued doing this, we would find that what happens is that a price of 8 cents, I should say, and an exchange of 8 eggs per week will achieve both of those conditions. We will end up having the marginal personal worth to Ray being equal to 8 cents, and we will have the marginal personal worth of the 8th egg given up equal to 8 cents for Ted. In this case, this will leave Ted with a total of 12 eggs per week, and Ray with a total of 28 eggs per week. Okay? And so what we're doing here is we're just going along each demand curve until we find the marginal personal worth. And what we're doing is we're plugging in different numbers into these Q's here. Okay, so here for 21, for example, we would take this 21 and plug it in right here, and we would take this 19 and we would plug it in right here. If Ray's was still higher than Ted's, we would continue, right? We would sell another, or Ted rather, would sell another egg to Ray.